afternoon, 3 p.m. on Tuesday is my 30 minutes with you. Today, I want to deliver to you the accountant view of how the tax policy are delivered by candidates, Harris and Trump. So I felt like I have really gathered all the information throughout the time at this moment. And I will say that I'm not going to express my opinion on those policies, but I really want to give you the taste of why they say what they say. And, you will totally make sense of why the Democratic Party are going this path and the Republican Party going this path. And Trump's economic policy and the tax policies are largely representing the extreme of Republican. And I know policy can be extreme and policy can be moderate, right? But Trump is the hardcore and on the right side. So his policy is really focused, and I will explain that to you. Let's go with our today's content. I believe you are looking at my cover page, right? Harris versus Trump, how they project tax policies. And then before we talk, and I always want to introduce our firm. After all, I am here to impress you. So I'm hoping that you love my videos and you love our YouTube channel, and you will follow us and hear what we have to say. A lot of times we bring very timely, sensitive tax information, accounting information, business information to make sure that we move along with you in the business journey, and we want you to start your journey with us, grow your journey with us, and eventually get to where you want to be and be proud of what you have done, and also be proud of what the firm had offered you. So we have 27 years experience in practice field. So we're not new, we're not so old either. We are 27 years old, right on time to really, work the work and knows what we're doing. And collectively, we have 40 employees and 10 different languages are collectively spoken by our professional staff. So you can imagine that as a firm, we take our staff's, ability to speak another language as an asset. And if people have stronger accent and we get used to it, we love it. So it is a very open environment at a firm, and we love people who can speak other languages. We have 5 branches currently, and Texas Houston is the one that we just opened this year. We already have the door open. You can go into our office and to see our office in Galleria Mall area. It's quite a midtown of Houston. And I served as in the National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel for 3 years. This panel is a federal advisory committee that provides advice to IRS. So with that, I want to introduce to you my 2 books, and I just autographed a couple copies. Folks bought it and brought it in, bought online and brought it in for me to autograph. And I am actually, last time I mentioned that I am going to do another version of the 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. It's called 8 sharp and 10 sharp. And in that version, I will condense the 200-some pages down to 50 pages, I promise you. Because I got a lot of input. Folks tell me that, can you make it short? I just want to see your piece of information, not all of these famous people that you refer in your book, that's kind of like the book structure. I referred, in my 8 a.m., I actually have Trump in there. In my 10 a.m., I have Elon Musk in there. And if I just let go of all of these public kind of known knowledge and its information, then the book will be a lot smaller. So I'm going to do that. All right. No responsibility disclaimer, very important. And if I have said something wrong, and just because it's outdated, and God knows, maybe I was doing ChatGPT and I found information for Australia and I brought over here for US. I'm just kidding. But I have that happen. Folks come to me and they tell me that, oh, Ying, there's a new tax credit and you have never told me. And, why are you not telling me? And when I look at it, it's like, oh, yeah, sure, that's for Australia, not for US. So internet doesn't offer any boundaries if you don't search it properly. So we, of course, do our due diligence. All of our content are coming from reviews. So it's not like I'm just standing here dreaming of what I want to talk about. I do prepare, so I want to deliver the knowledge to you accurately. So no responsibility disclaimer just explains that there's no client and a service provider relationship. So what you use our knowledge for without becoming our client is really not in the jurisdiction of our responsibility, right? All right. Introduction. Tax policy is the most important means for government to interfere with economy at large. So as a country, it's like a family, right? Like this big, gigantic group of people, business, everything. It's a country. Then how to do your tax policy, that is how government can group things together and do things with more power. It is critical aspect of any election because the candidate has to come up with their version of impacting the economy through this mean, through that mean. They have to manage the government. They have to have money. And so for that reason, tax policy and the revenue generation, tax saving or expenditure saving become a topic. That's why it is related to presidential election. Understand the candidate's tax proposal will help you as a voter to make informed decision. With the election approaching, right, both major candidates, Harris and Trump, had outlined their tax plan already, which reflected their strategy and the priorities in their proposal. So let's look at what Donald Trump has as a candidate. He came up with this. So overview is the focus on broad tax cut for top tiers of earners, extending existing tax relief measures. The existing tax relief measures that we are experiencing right now, a lot of them is coming from the Job Act, which President Trump put in place back in 2018. So all of them, a lot of them, some of them are permanent, but a lot of them are expiring in 2025, giving the new White House residents a authority to continue or to change. So that is kind of a gate for, I think when President Trump was making those Job Act, and he was thinking that he'll be 8 years term, right? But he didn't really, he lose the election, by the way, and I am not election denier. He lost it fair, so that is what it is. So he didn't get 8 years. So this 4 years under Biden still carried on what has agreed back in 2018. So that Job Act is abbreviated to be TCJA. It's called Tax Cuts and the Job Act, so TCJA. I just call it Job Act. Okay, this one, the extension of the provisions are very, very likely. If Trump becomes the president, why not, right? It's his thing, so he can just extend that. That's totally fine. But most important things I want to point out is that he would like to lower the corporation tax rate. Remember, Job Act lowered the tax rate to 15%. And then it got increased to 21% after Biden took office. Now, if Trump becomes president, obviously, he would lower that even lower, or he would lower that back into 15%. So that was his promise. He also promised to impose a national sales tax. This is a tariff tax. So what he said is that he will impose 20 to 60% on all the value that imported to United States. So if John Deere use equipment parts that coming from other country, there will be added cost. If the retail purchase things from out of country, there will be a tariff tax imposed on it. this tax is not like what Trump said it is China paying for it or, Australia paying for it. No, it is the people who want the stuff in U.S. pays for it. So our purchaser, our wholesaler, will go to buy things from China. And if that thing in China costs $5, at the custom, the tariff tax will come in for 60%. So if that is a $10, 60% we are selling for, the cost will be $16 for the wholesaler. So Costco is a wholesaler. So what does Costco do? Costco will increase the price to the consumer, so the consumer will buy it for $26 and no longer $20 because they have to add their profit margin on it. So that is a national sales tax in the core. It is a tariff tax, but it's a sales tax, national sales tax. We have a state sales tax, right? So you have, Minnesota has state sales tax, and here Iowa and Houston, and all the state has sales tax. They are generating revenue for the state. But national sales tax will generate that revenue for the federal government. So the importer will actually pay that tariff tax to the government, and then the government will have more revenue, right? So this is the proposal. And where did that national sales tax get paid? Get paid by you, me, everybody who consume that product. All right. So what is Kamala Harris's plan? So she emphasizes on targeting tax relief for middle-income earners and higher taxes on wealthy and a corporation to fund the government. So middle-income tax cut, she's talking about people who makes $400,000 AGI. $400,000 pretty much means as a couple, maybe each one of you make $200,000 W-2, then you become a middle class, right? Middle class is really from the bottom all the way to the $400,000 range. And by the way, she herself, her tax return that filed last year, and her AGI is $485,000. I just want you to know that. So she knows what she's talking about to lower the middle class tax. And then she also wants, of course, you lower tax on one group of people, the government still need to run, so she has to come up with places that to raise taxes. So she will raise taxes on high-income individual and corporation. High-income individual and all, she doesn't really need to do anything drastic. She just have to not extend the Job Act, because Job Act lowered the rate from 39.5 down to 37.5. She can leave it, right? And then the corporation taxes, she can change that. Right now it's 21%. She can come in and do 28%. I hear rumors talking about, I don't know, when I hear rumors, really not reliable, right? I'm so far away from the politics, and I don't really talk to anybody from White House directly. I probably just picked it up here and there from the internet, or I really don't know where I got that. But 28%, it is kind of, somewhere there, saying that corporation tax will raise it to 28%. So when Trump was the president, it was a 15%, and then Biden came on board, become the president, he raised it to 21%, then you got 28%, maybe. I want to show you something. So I want to show you this chart. Let me see. Did I lose one thing? I actually lose one of my slides, but that's okay. What I want to talk to you about is, the tax policies affecting us, right? But it's actually really a way for the candidate to articulate how do they run the country. So we have 33.1 trillion debt as of today, okay? And then what does that mean? I know you never made $1 trillion in your pocket, so you probably don't know what that means. That means for every U.S. citizen, we owe $104,000 to some dude who loaned money to U.S. So U.S. carry debt. The U.S., the country has debt. A lot of it is from China. That's why, if you hear the joke, they're talking about, oh yeah, they need to learn how to speak Chinese because the debt collector will be speaking Chinese. And with that said, it just tells you that we have a lot of debt. We have a lot of debt, and look at this chart. This chart is by president. I listed the president for you. The highest bar means that president got the most national debt for the country. And that winner is President Trump. And he generated the most national debt in the 4 years he was on that job. The lowest one is Clinton. So look at this chart. And I'm not making this chart up. This is the politics fact publication. You can find them on internet. They tells you which president generates the most debt, which president lowers the debt, and so you have a fair look here. So with that said, our effort as a president in this country need to be helping us to run a household not so in debt, right? Obviously, as a country, we can file bankruptcy. Yeah. And President Trump filed 6 bankruptcies. So, and Kamala Harris have not filed any bankruptcy in the past. But this country we're in right now has so much debt, and we're over exceeding our debt limit. Every year, there's a fight of shutting down the government. We don't want to go through our debt limit, right? We're at 33.1 trillion debt. Every one of us, as long as you vote, you have $104,000 debt on you. If the government decides to make every citizen pay for the debt, you got that bill. All right. So with that said, I want to summarize it for you because of that. So both of them, Trump or Harris, need to deal with this. How did they go about doing this? Okay, I want you to see this summary comparison. Trump policy, Trump's approach is top down. Harris is bottom up. Which one is wrong? Which one is right? There's no wrong or no right, really. But if you go extreme on top down, you go extreme on bottom up, you're going to create a problem. So look at this. Trump emphasized on broad restriction of expired provisions to benefit all businesses with a focus on large-scale investment, incentive for the top 1% richest. Because Trump believes that if I got the richest people together to make a lot of money, they will triggering that down because they're going to hire people, they're going to revitalize the economy. So that's his thought, okay? And he will lower the corporation tax, and he'll impose national sales tax, so increase revenue for the government, for the treasury, but bring the burden into everyday people. So each one of us, in average, will pay $4,000 to $5,000 more on national sales tax, if that is going through. Are you gonna feel it? Depends on where you are in the income spectrum. If your income is relatively okay in the household, $4,000 not gonna run you into bankruptcy. But the low-income people will have issue, right? So Harris focus on targeted support for small businesses throughout specific tax credit incentive for middle-class families who earns from 0 to $400K per year. So small business incentives she's talking about, and the first-time home buyer program she's talking about. So in general, if we talk about extreme, then the bottom-up approach gonna create a very big government. The government spending gonna be a lot because you're trying to, subsidize, do a lot more things for the business. But I didn't hear Harris saying that. She said she is going to take more of a middle road reasonable approach to supporting the public service. So I don't know exactly, didn't really have time to study exactly what that means. But so I think the candidate understand big government is not good. It is going to making the expenditure so big, then there's no efficiency. There is, the economy is not going to be revitalized as you imagine if we just create a big government. But the top-down approach also create dictatorship. So what? So the country is running by 1% of individuals who refuse to endorse candidates and who pays millions for whoever vote in the campaign. That sounds very out of line. That is just that's not the democracy we have today. We don't have to go on to a democracy to the extent that we just don't need to work anymore. Let's just be a socialism or let's just be a communist, right? No, that's not the democracy means in this country. So we want to make sure that dictatorship doesn't exist, but also communist doesn't exist. These are both extremists are doing. So I didn't really have a name to name on the communist side, but we do have a dictatorship going on right now, right? And as on the table. So with that said, and this is the slides I said I lost, but it's right here. In Trump 4 years, and he made 7.8 trillion debt increase. And Obama 8 years, he did 9.5. So if you just say who created the most debt, it's not Trump, it's Obama. But he was there for 8 years. Trump was there for 4 years. That's why I gave you the map earlier to show you the average, right? Because the average for Trump is 2 trillion, and the average for Obama, it is 1.2 trillion. And obviously, Biden also have the debt increase. So with that, this is the slides I want to show you. So it is 104,000 per U.S. person, my dear. So let's not kidding ourselves. I mean, we really need to elect the right president. And as a public person, as you, me, and others, you're not in White House and you're not in their cabinet, but if you just voice your concerns from your Congress people all the way to your senators in the state and to your local government, I mean, those kind of efforts actually trickling up, and it does make difference. So I don't want us to feel so small that then we don't participate in any of these discussions and outlooks for the country, right? For Trump, he focused on reducing government spending. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's absolutely needed. Focus on reducing government spending and impose national sales tax to manage the debt. That is this gentleman's idea. All right? Cut Department of Education. That's one of the things he is proposing. Cut Department of Education and just don't have it. And that, of course, is very extreme because that means the people who are at the low income level, they probably would never get a good education. So what are we creating? Creating a pocket of people who doesn't get education? That just, no. We need education, right? We want everyone to be educated. And get rid of housing assistance and defund climate change efforts and scientific research and helping big business to grow bigger. So this is how Trump handles national debt. So Harris also proposed to handle national debt. So she is advocates for the balanced approach. This is her words. Balanced approach with targeted tax increase and the strategic investment in public services. And public services, I don't have opinion about that just because I don't know whether this public services means organizations and corporations that privately owned but providing public services, or we're talking about big government here. And her approach is increase corporation tax, increase capital gain tax. Those are all taxes low-income people, a lot of medium level of income earners, they don't pay those kind of taxes. So she wants to increase those. And she also wants to tax more for people who make more money, right? $400,000 a year more. Of course, it's not absolute dollars. If you have 10 children, 400,000 will be really, really tight for you. So I'm not saying that is the absolute number, but there is a threshold. If you have 10 children, you're gonna get so many child tax credit, and you will be getting a big refund every year under Harris, just because Trump's policy also are not really advocating for increasing child tax credit, and his proposal is just to extend what we already have right now. But Harris is actually increasing for the newborn. And increase estate and leave the high threshold to expire. Right now is $12 million estate threshold. So after 2025 was dropped down to 7. So, 7 million. So, Harris's approach would be not to do that, not to raise it back, leave it at 7 million. So if you die with more than $7 million estate, then you pay estate tax, right? So this is another way of looking at how to tax people with more. If they have more, we tax them more. So that's the idea. And help small business to thrive. So Harris's thought process in the economy is that he believes is bottom up. She's saying that if we can grow these small businesses, we get everybody excited with their own doing and becoming an entrepreneur, and the society will be stable, revenue will be generated, so the wealth, the happiness will come from the bottom up. Of course, if small business grow, big business will grow too, because a lot of small business survives for doing things for big business, right? So with that kind of thinking, this is where she goes and rally around and creating momentum out there. So this is where we want to come in as accountant, just offer you our thought. How is the two candidates approaching economic policies and the tax policies differently? Why are they doing that? Is it just because they like to against each other? No, because their goals and their vision for the country is different. With that said, I want to conclude our gossiping about a presidential election and their tax policies. And this is our partners at our firm, and you can always book our time to video us. We have video conference here, so if you book our time, we will be on video conference. We can talk to you, review your things, and exchange our dialogues. And a lot of times when folks has tax related questions, and I'm being booked every day. I used to say that I'm being booked every week if it is not every day. Now I'm just saying that I'm being booked every day if it is not 2 times or 3 times a day. So it is a time for folks to really care about what they do for 2024 tax, because 2025 will be a change year no matter who is the resident of the White House. So 2024 becoming the last year we know what to do, then we prepare for 2025. So welcome you to our tax planning service, and we do provide that professional service to you. And our thing is, we don't give you a book to read like some other, I know there are software companies, and if we buy their software to do tax planning, at the end they give 35 pages of report to you. No, we put everything on 8 by 11 one page. We give you a map chart for you. You understand your business so well. I promise you, you should experience how we do tax planning. Very different, very unique. And I knew that people who does tax planning with us always walk away with so much they gain, with so well they understand their own business and the business structure, and they come back year after year. All right, our last slide is about encouraging you to subscribe to our channel. Why are you waiting? Subscribe to our channel, get to know what we talk about every day, and we literally post 4 videos each week. So Tuesday, I'm on 30 minutes. Saturday, I'm on for an hour. In between, we have a Chinese translated video, and we also have Spanish translated webinar to provide to you. And Catherine at communitycpa.com right there. If you have a topic you really want us to dive in, do work for you, tell us. Then I'll be online and giving you that answer. Our firm, we open 6 days a week. Even now, yes, we don't just open 6 days a week. During the tax season, we are doing that year-round. So you can always find someone on the phone with you on Saturday. If you visit our branches, you'll find people in the office as well. I will talk to you